English translation 382nd contact. Thursday, 10th March 2005, 14:03 hours.
Ta, my friend, you are also early today. But welcome and greetings.
Be greeted, Edward. Yes, I am early because I want to take care of some things here today that have to do with your desired predictions. But first, I would like to come back to what we talked about on the 13th of March, 1999, in relation to the video with the statements of the group members. This video had to be destroyed because it was absolutely useless. At that time, I was talking about the fact that a new video was to be made, but this has not yet been realized. It is now urgent that this work is made up for and done, and as soon as possible. This time, however, it should be done professionally, so that the same unpleasantness does not occur again as it did then. And when the video is finished, then this time it should be examined by the whole group first, before the mistake of expensive duplication is made again. The idea here is that the whole thing is done in the form of an interview with all the individual group members, whereby certain questions are determined in advance and then answered. The questions should cover a wide spectrum, and indeed regarding the spiritual teaching, also known as creation energy teaching, missionary work and observations, as well as photography opportunities related to us and our flying apparatuses. If the work is completed to our satisfaction, it shall be reproduced and sold. A small number of copies will be made on videos, but a larger number will be made on DVDs. This is also connected with a wish on our part, because we want to broadcast the completed work on ERA to the entire ERA population through our planet-wide information channels, because a great many requests have been received from the entire ERA population regarding the fact that they would like to get to know all group members and their experiences, etc., in this wise.
Then we will discuss the matter at the April General Assembly.
I will rely on that. But now I want to tell you about what you asked Florina to make an effort for.
Ah, yes. You mean regarding my former teacher Gushti Lehman, his connection to India and the man in Zurich.
That is correct. In the parts of my father's legacy that he left to Quetzal, there are actually some records of this. See, this is where I wrote it down for you.
Man, this is more than Hans-Georg and I expected. May I take notes of it?
Of course.
1 minute, please, because I am going to start the computer and write what I need to write right now. It is easier than writing by hand and the paper keeps slipping away.
Of course.
There is a computer heartbeat. Let us see.
Monk in Burma with whom Svarth had contact.
German, named Theophil Finzel, from Hamburg monk's name. Mahatmya Mahaprajaja, self-chosen, meaning the generous great sage. Indian with whom Gushti Lehman was in contact was a mystic and very wealthy merchant from Calcutta. Name Natwar Vaipayi, donated all the money for the Sadapathana meditation method action, Schaffer for the paper, packaging, and shipping. Man in Zurich, who was in contact with Gustav Lehmann and shared various interests with him. Among others, secret nudism and secret Buddhist mysticism, Ta thinks, should not be mentioned as long as children are still alive. Through this man, Gustav Lehmann met the Indian Natwar Vaipayi. Name, Karl-Heinz Metzinger. Nationality, German, from where unknown, was unmarried, lived in a small apartment on Badnerstrasse in Zurich, went back to Germany in 1958, where unknown. Worked temporarily as a printer for the Zürcher Tageszeitung, and in addition to his work, ran a small, commercially undeclared private paper trade with handwriting paper, typewriting paper, and printing paper. He printed most of the sheets alone on a transfer printing machine, for which he was paid by Natwar Vajpayee, who, like Gustav Lehmann, was interested in the work being distributed in certain circles that were devoted to him. Packaging was done by him and Gushti Lehmann. All shipping was done by the Indian Natwar Vajpayee.
So this should be enough and clear. Thank you very much, Ptah. This will certainly help Hans-Georg.
I guess it is for his new book?
I suppose so, yes. But he also found out something else about my former teacher, Heinrich Fair. Namely that this lovable teacher is still alive, 84 years old, and still remembers me very well. Hans-Georg gave me his telephone number, so I called him and talked to him for some time. He was very happy. Of course I could not help it and promised him some of my books, which he has now probably received. Hans-Georg also visited him and talked to him for a long time, recording the conversation on tape, which he wants to play for me next Sunday when he comes here for Sunday service.
I can understand your joy.
Yes. Then I want to ask you, are you familiar with the names Sixto Paz and Ricardo Gonzalez? They are two men from South America who claim that they are in contact with extraterrestrials and have even been in their spaceships, etc.
That is indeed the case. Yes, by which I mean that I know the names of the two men as well as their stories about alleged contacts with extraterrestrials. Both men surrendered to a large-scale fiddle because there is no truth in all their claims. The whole thing is pure invention and fantasy in both of them, and indeed without any truth. It has also been the case for many years now that our worldwide efforts of clarification and surveillance in this regard have not produced any positive results, and therefore no contacts between terrestrial human beings and extraterrestrials have been recorded. These clarifications are without any doubt because our monitoring in this regard is absolutely faultless. Because our apparatuses and devices register all foreign to Earth mental swinging waves of acute activities, but also of telepathic nature, therefore nothing can escape us in this respect. If communications between Earth foreigners and Earth humans had taken place in the last major period of time, then this would have been recorded by our automatic recording devices and would have become known to us. This is in addition to the fact that we have always also created individual clarifications with regard to all persons who have claimed and still claim that they have been or are still in contact with extraterrestrials. But the results concerning such contacts are consistently negative to this day, and that is absolutely clear. It is no different with extraterrestrial flying objects, because also with regard to these, we have built up a global surveillance network a few months ago so that no objects can enter or leave the airspace without being registered by us. Until recently, this was different, because we had not yet installed the necessary equipment. Consequently, some foreign objects escaped our attention in recent years. But this has nothing to do with the registration of foreign mental swinging waves, which we have been monitoring worldwide for more than 82 years. Therefore, we are also informed about when and where contacts between Earth humans and Earth foreigners have actually taken place. During this time, their number, you accepted, applies to only 8 such contacts. But of all those who claim that they have or have had such contacts, only one is who openly admitted the truth and came forward, the American Daniel Fry. All others remain silent to the public about their contacts. And what else is to be said about extraterrestrial flying objects? They have entered Earth's airspace very sparsely since 1984. What has been observed since then of unknown flying objects were usually, with very few exceptions, secret military or official flying objects of terrestrial origin.
So that is also said. Then the following question. Do you know which area of the Earth is most endangered by earthquakes?
Yes, I know that. It is the Bay of Bengal area, with the part of the Bengal Ridge in particular being most at risk, from where the Great Seaquake originated, which then claimed around 360,000 lives in the resulting tsunami. The area has been endangered by earthquakes since ancient times, and will continue to be endangered for thousands of years to come. Then there is another place that is also very much at risk, namely the whole area called Kritikos Pelagos in the Mediterranean. However, the area particularly at risk of earthquakes extends from the whole of southern Greece and its islands to Turkey, the island of Cyprus, and Syria. Much of the central and southern Pacific, as well as Italy and Sicily, is also very much at risk from the activities of the various volcanoes. But what will happen in the future, what we have found out in a short time, Njana will tell you next Thursday. For my part, I would just like to point out that an epidemic may already be developing with regard to malignant skin cancer. The reason for this can be found in the unreasonable use of the solarium equipment, which we have already spoken about together in private on several occasions. But now, Edward, we should turn to the unofficial things if you have no more questions.
I do not right now. So let us turn to the other things.